Michelle insisted on throwing me a gender reveal dinner and then publicly humiliated me. My mother-in-law never cared much for me, that was no secret. Still, I didn't think she'd go as far as she did just to make a point. What she didn't count on was my husband standing up for me when it mattered most. From the moment I married Jake, his mom Sharon made it clear I wasn't the DIL she wanted. Comments about my makeup, my nose, my hair, all well-meaning digs. I let it go. I put up with it mostly for my husband, Jake, who's always tried to play peacemaker. He loves his mom, and I figured if I ignored the digs, things might improve. They didn't. When I got pregnant, she suddenly got super involved. Bought baby clothes. Texted weekly. Then she invited us to a small gender reveal dinner. At first, I didn't know what to make of it. Part of me hoped she was finally warming up to me. But another part kept wondering if it was just for show. The change felt too sudden, too perfect, like she was performing for an audience I couldn't see. The morning of the gender reveal, I felt uneasy. I stood in front of the mirror, smoothing down my dress, but my chest was tight. Something about the whole thing didn't feel right. I kept telling myself to relax, it was just dinner, just family, but I couldn't shake the nerves. As we pulled up to Sharon's house that evening, my stomach turned. I took a deep breath, told myself I was overthinking, and followed Jake to the door. We walked into a house packed with 25-plus people. I was 7 months pregnant and instantly overwhelmed. But I smiled through it. Sharon rushed over with a wide smile. "There she is, the glowing mama," she said, giving me a quick kiss on the cheek. "You made it just in time. Everyone's been dying to see the bump." I glanced around the room. "This is more than a few people," I said, keeping my voice even. "Oh, don't be silly," she replied. "It's just close friends and some neighbors." I figured the more, the merrier. "It's a celebration, right?" Jake leaned in and whispered, "You okay?" I nodded, though my hand was already gripping his. "I just thought it would be small." She said small. He looked at his mother. "You told us this was going to be a little dinner, Mom." Sharon waved her hand. "It is little, compared to a wedding." Jake gave her a tight smile. "Mom, this isn't what you told us. You said it would just be a few people." She laughed lightly, brushing invisible crumbs off her blouse. "Oh, Jake, don't be so stiff. It's just a few extras." Everyone was so excited when they heard. I couldn't say no. "You could have mentioned it," he replied, glancing around. "She's 7 months pregnant. This is a lot." Sharon tilted her head. "She'll be fine. It's good for her to be around people. She needs to feel celebrated." Jake's jaw tightened. "She doesn't need a crowd to feel loved. She needed a calm night. That's what we agreed to." Sharon sighed, exasperated. "Honestly, you're making this bigger than it is. Can't we just enjoy the evening without all this drama?" He didn't answer. He just looked at me, and I knew he was holding back. Then she turned back to me and smiled. "You look lovely, Christelle. Pregnancy suits you." "Thank you," I said softly, trying to read her tone. She leaned in and touched my arm. "I know I can be a bit much," she said with a chuckle. "But really, I just want everything to be special for the baby. First grandchild and all." I forced a small smile. "I appreciate that. It's a lot to take in, but it's kind of you to plan all this." She gave a dramatic sigh. "Well, you're carrying my granddaughter. That makes you part of the family, whether you like it or not." I laughed, unsure if it was a joke or a reminder. But before I could answer, someone tapped a glass, and everyone turned toward the dining room. Sharon stepped forward with her wine. "Time for a little toast," she called out. She tapped her glass dramatically and stood. Everyone fell silent. I assumed she'd say something sweet, a blessing, maybe. I stood up next to her, expecting a shared moment. Instead, she looked at me, then waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, honey, sit down. This isn't really for you." Confused, I hesitated. Then she raised her glass and said, loudly, with a smile, "I just hope our little granddaughter doesn't inherit her mother's nose. Let's pray she gets my genes instead. I've always been the pretty one, even now." She looked right at me and said, "I just hope our little granddaughter doesn't inherit her mother's nose. Let's pray she gets my genes instead. I've always been the pretty one, even now." I wanted to run out of the room. The room laughed. Jake didn't. He stood, raised his glass, and said, "Actually," he said, "I have a toast too." Sharon blinked. "Oh. Okay." But he didn't let her interrupt. "To my wife. The woman who carried our daughter for 8 months with grace, despite hormonal headaches, back pain, and rude comments from people who should have supported her. The woman who has more beauty in one freckle than some people manage in a lifetime of Botox and ego. And to our daughter, may she grow up strong, kind, and nothing like some of the toxic people in this room." Silence. One cousin coughed. Then he gently took my hand and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "We're leaving. This wasn't a celebration, it was a performance. And I'm done giving my mother a front row seat." Gasps rippled across the room. A fork clinked against a plate. No one moved. Sharon opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her smile dropped, frozen somewhere between shock and offense. Aunt Lydia looked down at her lap. One of the neighbors awkwardly reached for her drink. Someone near the back murmured, "Yikes." I felt every pair of eyes on us as Jake guided me toward the door. No one tried to stop us. No one said goodbye. It was as if the whole party had been paused mid-scene, and we were the only ones allowed to leave the frame. He didn't even wait for a response. We left. In the car, the silence sat heavy between us for a few minutes. Then Jake reached over and placed his hand on mine. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I should have seen this coming." I stared out the window, then looked at him. "You really meant all that? Back there?" He nodded without hesitation. "Every word. I don't care if she's my mom, you don't treat someone like that, especially not the woman carrying my child." I blinked, holding back tears. I kept trying to make it work. I thought maybe she'd change. Jake shook his head. She had her chances. From now on, it's about us. You, me, and our baby. I leaned back against the seat, finally breathing again. "Thank you for standing up for me." "You shouldn't have needed me to," he said. "But I always will." Jake hasn't spoken to his mother since that night. She's tried texting, calling, guilt-tripping him through extended family. We're expecting our baby any day now. Sharon won't be in the delivery room. One night, as we folded baby clothes in the nursery, I broke the silence. "She messaged me again today," I said quietly. Jake looked up. "What did she say?" I shrugged. Same as before. That she didn't mean anything by it. That she was just joking, and I overreacted. He scoffed. Classic. Make the insult, then blame the person who got hurt. I hesitated. "Do you think we should talk to her? Before the baby comes?" He shook his head. "Not unless she takes responsibility. Not unless she means it." I folded a tiny onesie and placed it in the drawer. "She said she's hurting." That you're being unfair. Jake's voice stayed calm, but firm. She embarrassed you. In front of everyone. She didn't just cross a line, she built a stage on it. I didn't respond right away. Then he added, I'm not cutting her out. But I'm protecting you. And our daughter. That's not negotiable. I looked at him for a moment, my eyes stinging. I never wanted to come between you and your mom, I said softly. But I need to know our daughter will grow up feeling safe. Not judged. Not picked apart. Jake nodded, no hesitation. She will. I promise. And while it breaks my heart that my daughter might not have a relationship with her grandmother, it breaks it more to think that someday, Sharon might look at her and find something to fix. Not on my watch. If you liked this story, here's another one. My father-in-law accused me of cheating on my husband. But I wasn't about to let that slide. With a little help, I cleared my name and gave him a taste of his own medicine. This work is inspired by real events and people, but it has been fictionalized for creative purposes. Names, characters, and details have been changed to protect privacy and enhance the narrative. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental and not intended by the author.